Right, enough of that incredibly middling punishment game. In fact, can we see who we can somewhat blame for that? Let me check my punishments. Billy DeRue put this one in, and I gotta say, poor show. But we have had worse, so I'm gonna move that one away. Right, so I run long plays. I've ran rather a lot of long plays by now. My own count puts Xenonauts that we just had at the 45th. So we're going to take a vote on what the 46th one is going to be, and our choices come down to these 5. I'm going to read the description for each of them, and then I'm going to put it up to vote. I'm also going to bring that music down a bit, that's quite loud. So, first up we have Dungeon Keeper The Deeper Dungeons. So this is because Kitty was streaming it, and it made me think, oh man, I ran Dungeon Keeper, the main campaign, as one of the first long plays I did. Kinda feel like doing it again, but this time doing the Deeper Dungeons, which is a much more savagely difficult set of missions than the base game has. Kinda need to squeeze every resource you have, and, well, I just recall being really brutalized by them. I think Childhood Jake eventually beat them all. Maybe, that's what I'll choose to believe. In any case, it's Dungeon Keeper, but it's much harder, and that is the first option here. The second one up is Simutrans. Acronymus put this one forward. They said it's somewhat similar to Open Transport Tycoon Deluxe, but it's more in-depth, for example, cargo having specific destinations. The map provides a lot of customization, a high degree of freedom, and approaching from different challenges, and they estimate it's a 30-plus hour long play. Next one up is the Tomb Raider Trilogy for the PlayStation 1. Arnold Renkist puts this one in. They say, true platforming puzzle master like you basically obliged to beat these classics on stream. They say it's 30 to 50 hours for them? See, I've never played the original Tomb Raiders. I haven't played any Tomb Raiders, actually. And they are classics. I would like to get around to playing them someday. Next up is Medieval Dynasty. Jimmy the Beefcake puts this one in. They say it's an action builder RPG. And they say, it seems you really enjoyed Banished and also Henry of Skalitz. This is basically a combo of those two games. Survive in the Middle Ages, do quests, build a settlement to manage, 20 to 40 hours. And finally there's Let's Build a Zoo, a simulation game. I've been after playing a zoo game for a while, but not Planet Zoo. I don't think the Planet series of games is that good. But this one looked quite interesting and charming, so I slapped it up there, no idea how long it is. And now the flow-breaking moment, where I actually have to set up the poll for these. We are going to set up a poll for 3 minutes. And it's called Next Long Play and Dungeon Deeper Dungeon. Okay. I'll just have to call it Deeper because there's a limit on the amount of characters I can have here. Next up, Simutrans. If I had to guess, it's going to be between Simutrans and Dungeon Keeper, but you never know with these things. So this is where we find the real Tomb Raider lobby. Medieval Dynasty, and Let's Build a Zoo. Now, everybody gets a vote, but if you've been around for a while, you'll have acquired a bunch of points, which you can throw towards this as well. Similarly, if you're just plain rich, you might have a bunch of bits that you can throw towards it too. So the vote goes up. It goes up approximately now. Cast your votes, because whatever we get here, we are stuck with. Are we going to get to see the list there? There we go. Next long quake, bring it down. Usually the ones that come out of the gate are the ones that look particularly good, and in this case, it is indeed Dungeon Keeper and Simutrans, but Medieval Dynasty also fighting, making it a 3-horse race. Simutrans seems to be showing a lack of stamina for this one. I used to have points. Any idea what happened to them, says Pepperan? Maybe you're just bad at gambling. Okay, Simutrans is somewhat failing to hold on. It looks like it's going to be a fight between Dungeon Keeper and Medieval Dynasty. The Germans are out in force, says Andarius, but what would the Germans be after? I would have thought the Germans would be after the Simutrans. Just say no to nostalgia, says Quintuple Down. Well, the nostalgic games here would be Tomb Raider and Dungeon Keeper. I don't know about Tomb Raider, but Dungeon Keeper has certainly earned the nostalgia that it gets. It's a brilliant game. Medieval Dynasty, I don't know too much about. I've had some people going back and forth about it on on Discord. Actually, more back than 4th. But it looked promising, so I slapped it up on the list. I gotta say, I feel bad for Let's Build a Zoo. A staggering 9 votes behind it. I don't think there's much love for getting our zoo building groove on. MD is going to be a new punishment, says Commissar Kitty. Probably just rallying up votes for Dungeon Keeper, since it's Commissar Kitty's fault that Dungeon Keeper is on this list at all. Rory says it's a bit disappointing with the Weeb lobby this time around. Well, I think it's been a while since we had some Weeb options in, so I think we'll see about that for the next vote. Let's Build a Zoo and Medieval Dynasty lack the spreadsheets, says Worm. I wouldn't say Dungeon Keeper has much in the way of spreadsheets. Simutrans probably would, but Simutrans is well and truly dead now. It's between the Dungeon Keeping and the Medieval Dynasty. I'm very biased, says Kitty, you know it. And Pepperan is agreeing with the disappointment of all the weebs here. I think I'd struggle to put up a long play vote that had nothing but weebery choices, Mosmoris. At least anything that I'd certainly be allowed to stream. Dungeon Keeper has the dungeons and the Iron Maidens most Germans would appreciate. Iron Maidens might have been Dungeon Keeper 2. Maybe you're thinking of the... what are they called again? The Dark Ladies. Dark Mistresses. Man, they are so good. Okay, it seems like Dungeon Keeper's got something of a clear lead. They managed to push out 50 votes ahead of Medieval Dynasty. Unless something changes in these final 15 seconds, it looks like we're plunging our way down to the deeper dungeons, which is probably going to be quite a long play. I think there are 15 levels, and each of them are probably going to be a stream each, because they are hardcore. There we go. It wins out. Or perhaps I should say, so be it. We'll be running through Dungeon Keeper Deeper Dungeons. Of course, we're going to be running with the fan mod Keeper FX, because it fixes the game in a whole lot of ways and has it run on modern systems. I will get that set up, and that will be the stream that we open with tomorrow at noon CEST, and it'll be followed up with hopefully a more punishing punishment game, Castle Shikigami 2. Nonetheless, we should certainly not lose the opportunity to check and see who was behind all of this. Fortunately, I have the power to view the results. Question is, can you view the results? I think I had a thing for this. Hold that thought. Should be something like vote results or something. Okay, I think we got something going here. If we just hide all of my embarrassing bookmarks, then I'm sure we can bring you right in. Hey, that looks like it works. Alright, show us the vote breakdown. We know that Volcron has been the biggest invisible hand of the market here with almost 1 million points. Volcron has loads of points. They know just how to gamble. Show us the breakdown here. There we go. Volcron, Salix, Farquaad, Kitty, Crowl, and a different Scipio were behind putting Dungeon Keeper up there. They had 63 voters, but lots of votes. Conversely, the popular vote winner was actually Medieval Dynasty, but these people were paupers, and as such it's befitting that they couldn't make it through for their game Medieval Dynasty. On top of that, Simutrans had, poor Kaladin, tried so hard, just not hard enough. He needs to win more bets, you see. As does Urkran, McCain, and Trit1 Subs... that guy. And then Tomb Raider had 14 individuals trying to back it, and Let's Build a Zoo had 10 people, and Yoshiba-san and Dulcer putting in a bit of a pity vote there, but it just wasn't quite enough. Alright, Dungeon Keeper, it starts in about 16 hours, I think. Excellent. So, see you then, until we do get going with Dungeon Keeper. So cheers, and a cheerio.